Thank you for visiting my blog. Today I'm going to be showing you how to reconfigure our cubby box that we just came out with Close to My Heart with the Autumn Winter 2012 idea book. But before I get started, I actually just want to show you what it was originally intended for. So this cubby is actually a box that is about a couple inches deep, and the way it's configured is it has 25 basically squares or boxes that you can create kind of pull-out boxes for to create an advent calendar. So in this case, this is actually a workshop, an advent calendar workshop. So you get everything that you need to create that kind of advent calendar. But I wanted to do something a bit different. So I'm going to show you first of all how I reconfigured the box, and then at the end of the video I will show you two examples of cubbies that I have reconfigured. So to get started, I'm just going to show you what it looks like. So here's the actual box. So like I said, there is all these boxes, and what I wanted to do is I wanted to reconfigure it so that instead of having 25 openings, what I did is I cut away what I call the walls. So I cut away these walls and I created like a new space. So in this case, instead of having the 4 individual boxes, I'm going to be taking out the walls and creating like one bigger space here to create like a scrapbook layout in it. So I just want to explain how I did that. So when you get your box, all of these kind of walls is what I call them, actually pull out. So they come right out and then they're just kind of go back together again. So what you want to do before I even get started, I kind of decide how I want my box to look. So what I do for that is I get out my kind of notebook, and the first thing I do is in this top picture, I actually just draw the square and the cubby as if all of the cubbies were there. And then I use squiggly lines to decide which walls I want to remove so that I can reconfigure the box. And then I redrew it kind of on the bottom, and I kind of did some layouts to, like I'm kind of doing a layout, so I decided what I was going to do. But this is what it looks like, is what it's going to look like when I actually cut out the walls. So I'm going to show you how I do that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my first step, and that is I want to take out these 4 walls here. So how I do that is I know that I'm going to be cutting these out, so I just take a pencil and I just draw a line. So in this case I need to cut off this wall, and this one will just pull out, so I don't need to cut that one, and I'm going to need to cut out this one. So I just take a pencil and I just draw along the bottom, and when I take this first piece out like I showed you originally, you're going to see my pencil mark. So this, I know that I need to cut this right off. So I'm going to move this aside, and what I do is I just take a ruler. So there's my line, and I want to cut it so that it's right. I actually want to cut it so that it's level with the top of the opening, and I'll explain that later why I do that. But so you just want to take your ruler and go right to the top of the opening, and I'm just going to use my lines on the ruler so that I know I'm getting a straight cut. And then you need fairly sharp X-Acto knife for this. So what I do is, and don't try and go through it all at once. So there it is. So now I know I'm going to take this piece away, and I know that when I put this piece back in, I'm going to put it in towards the bottom. So there's my one cubby, but I know that I need to now cut out this one. Now because these are on top, like all these rows, like these 4 rows are on top, I'm going to actually have to take out all these rows. Just going to set them aside. This is probably the trickiest part of this whole kind of doing this whole thing, but once you get the hang of it, you'll kind of know. And like the fact that I drew the picture in the beginning really helps you, because then when you go to assemble it back together, you know where everything goes. So now I'm going to take out this one, and I'm going to cut out the line right here that I drew. So there's the line, so I know that I need to cut it there. So again, take my ruler, try and get it lined up so that it's near the top of that kind of U-shaped opening. You want to hold your ruler kind of straight, and then, like I said, just keep going over the same spot, and just, you'll feel it kind of going through. There we go. So I'm going to put that aside. So what I find it's easier if you actually kind of keep sort of putting the box back together again, just because then you can make sure that you're kind of doing all the cuts where you wanted them. So basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing the rest. I'm going to keep referring to my picture, and I'm going to keep cutting away the walls that I no longer want to be there. So maybe I'll show you one more that I do, and then after that I'm going to finish the rest of the box, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the rest of the box. So that's just there's one example. So this is going to be a larger opening. So with my picture, I also wanted to take away this wall here, so create that to be a bigger, longer space like that. So I know that I need to cut out this wall here. So in order to do that, again, you take your pencil, you're going to be running it along the bottom edge, so just along the bottom. And then in this case, I only have to take out this one. And I'll be cutting away that one little wall so that I can create that space bigger. So again, there you go with your knife. Just keep going, follow the ruler. Once you get that first edge in with your X-Acto knife, it's fairly easy to kind of keep going over the same spot. In fact, I could probably take the ruler away towards the end and just keep going over the same spot, and you're going to see that it just keeps guiding you through the same area. Okay, and I'll just zoom out and I'll show you, I'll put that piece back in. So that one goes towards the bottom here, so that I created this opening there. So now I'm just going to keep going with the rest of the box. I will say it does get a bit trickier when you're moving down here, because you end up having to take out more. But again, if you keep referring to your picture, you're going to be able to see where you need to put the pieces back together. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out the rest of the walls that I want to take away, and then I'm going to come back and show you what you need to do to kind of keep the walls secure, and I'll give you some ideas for that. Okay, so here is my completed configuration box where I've just cut away the walls that I wanted to. Now, one thing I'm going to just point out is when you like this wall here is pretty kind of on, it's just on its own. So what I recommend you do in cases like that, this wall here, and there's a few of them, is I actually take some glue and put it on this ledge, so that when you go to put it back in the box, it just stays there. It's glued in. Actually, I do that for all the walls. I just take some glue and put them in there's little grooves, like you can see the one here that's open, but there's grooves for where all of these walls go in. So I actually put glue there just to secure it. The other thing that I do is when you have a wall such as this one here, I put like a piece of tape, like even double-sided tape, or you could probably put a little bit of glue there, but I just, in order for it to be nice and flat, because I'm going to be covering all the walls with pattern paper, I do put sort of tape over all the areas where you have. So I would put some tape here just to keep it, like hold it and make it sturdy. And I would put some, like anywhere there's, like where you created that big opening, I would just put tape along each of the edges where there's now the openings, so that you can, it's nice and sturdy. And then again, I would put glue in all of the little grooves where your walls go in. So that is how I reconfigured my box. And I'm going to show you this box once I complete it. And I did complete another box where I reconfigured it a little bit differently, and I will show you both of those done at the end of this video tutorial. So here is my completed project, and I used the Flirty paper pack from Close to My Heart. So as I said before, I reconfigured it so that I changed the size of the different openings. So I'm just gonna do close-ups, go in like to close-ups to all the different squares. So that's like my first section, and then over, and then I did take the opportunity to put some drawers in a few of the spots, so that people could put trinkets or something in there. But then the rest of them are just kind of layouts. In some cases I used our new Cricut cartridge, and I wanted to do kind of like almost like ornaments, because you know I ran out of, I didn't want to have pictures for every single box. So, or in this case I did like a little sentiment. There's one of those drawers, and then wherever there is the colonial white cardstock, that's just where people can add their own pictures. So I hope that you're able to get a sense of kind of the box completed. And then what I do is I also decorate the outside of the box with some of the pattern paper, so that it just kind of finishes off the box quite nicely. So that is one of the boxes, and then now I'm going to show you one of the original box that I actually reconfigured, and I did it a little bit differently so you can get a sense of a different idea with the first box that I made. Okay, this is my other example of a advent calendar cubby box that I reconfigured. So it's slightly different than the last one. In this case I actually only have one of the larger openings, so and then I've got more of the kind of longer openings, like either going vertical or horizontal. So when I made this cubby, I actually used the Scholastic paper pack, which is kind of a school themed paper. And what I decided I wanted to do is I wanted to use all of my son's pictures that you get from the school pictures that you get, and put them in sort of this whole cubby. So what I did is when I put the picture in, I would put a number, the epoxy numbers would show you which grade he was in when that picture was taken. So it's just slightly different theme. And what I also wanted to do was I wanted to do, like, because I did this classic theme, what I did is I chose things such as like the stapler and some staples. I did these little file, like mini file folders. Again, these were cut with our new Cricut cartridge called Artiste, which is just fabulous. I've been having so much fun playing with that. And then I just put some of our, we have some bubble, kind of these bubble containers, and I just put like paper clips in there. So just all kind of school theme that I wanted to put in his cubby. So I hope that these examples have inspired you to actually try this on your own. It's really a lot easier than it looks. It's worth a try, and you know, I like to encourage people to sort of think outside the box and sort of do things that are different, or use what you have and then trying to like redo it your own way, so that you can have a great experience just creating something that's unique in your own. So thanks again for watching, and tune in next time for my next video tutorial. Thanks, bye-bye.